Right then folks, it's that time. It's Andy May's crash course again. This time it's looking at all things pellet conery. Feeder fishing again, absolutely adoring my rod and line work at the minute folks. You join me at the beautiful Cudmore Fisheries today on the Arena Lake, where it's my favourite lake in the whole wide world. I absolutely adore this venue, and we are going to do this one in one for you lovely lot, or in three as it's been today, because Jake keeps interrupting me, but that's by the by. Pellet cone then folks, why would it come into play over say like a method or a hybrid? Well, I'll be totally honest with you, you're still going to catch on a method or a hybrid. The beauty of a pellet cone is when that water starts to go that little bit clearer, certainly when winter finally arrives and we're not in this blooming heat wave that we're experiencing second week in October at the minute. The reason being is your hook bait is well away from any kind of feeder or anything like that, so the fish don't feel anything untoward. They see that little tiny pile of bait, zone in it and nail it. We'll go through bait and what I'm using in a sec, but first things first is obviously the setup. It's such an easy way of fishing, but the thing I'd say about it is you've got to be patient. It's not like when you're trying to build a swim up. If anything, you're looking to cast over like a bit of an area. I'll go through where I'm clipped up in a bit, but you're not looking to chuck it like in a maggot box. You know what I mean? It's sort of like 25-30 yards like you would be with a hybrid or a method feeder. That's not what the pellet cone is all about. It's all about casting over areas, not getting a build up of bait or anything like that. You just want the fish to come in, see that little pile and nail it. Now obviously F1s and carp are the main target on a lot of venues that you'll go to, but you're going to catch absolutely everything swimming on it. Such an easy way of fishing. First things first, we'll go through the setup and then we will go through the bait. Then hopefully, as I was saying, we're going to do it in one and we're going to catch a fish for you. So first things first is the setup. So what you've got to consider when you're casting a pellet cone, you can't really put a lot of force into the cast. Reason being is your pellet's going to fly off all over the place. So that's why you need heavier ledger bombs, which I'll come on to in a sec. Rod wise, if it was windier today, I mean, I'll always say chucking up to sort of 30 metres, 10 foot, are like the best rods in the whole wide world. What you've got to consider is wind. If we had a big crosswind, I would use a longer rod just so I could get the distance. Typically with pellet cone, you don't really want to be casting sort of like, the island is sort of like 30 metres away, but I'm going to be casting down the bank in a bit, so I'm going up the slope sort of like 20, 22 metres, something like that, and it's all about guiding the cast rather than giving it a big one. So rod length, you can go up to 11 foot, no problem at all, but as I say, because it's flat calm today, that's why I'm using a 10 foot. Reel size, again, 4,000 reel size, line, £6 or £8 line. I've got the sinking feeder line on today. Really good, sinks like a brick and just nice and robust. That's what you want. Tip wise then, cheeky, you want to be going for the lightest tip. Now with this rod, I've got an ounce tip in, simply because it's picking out all them little babby line bites. With this, I don't want to, like when you're normally fishing on a bomb, you want to put a massive bend in your rod, so when the fish picks up that hook bait, it's hooked straight away. But with this style of fishing, I want to pick out all them line bites and that, because again, difference today is obviously it's a little bit warmer, but when you be fishing this particular method, it'll be a lot colder. So when you start getting them little taps, it's giving you confidence that obviously the fish are going to be around your hook bait, around your feed. And by seeing them taps, if you slacken the resistance from the tip, that's usually when you get them fast pulls. It's a real good way of fishing. So yeah, so lightest tip possible, ounce tip, and then the business end. Again, talk through this loads and loads, folks. I don't set the ledger bomb up any other way. So we've got that bomb running on a snap link swivel. I'll come on to bomb size in a sec. That's coming down to one of our waggler stops, just a simple single waggler stop. And then you'll see there we've got a twizzle boom, or boom, 4 or 5 inches, something like that. And then onto that, what I'm like, I always forget the blooming name of these. It's like a quick changey hook length swivelly thing where you don't get tangled in. I don't know what they're called, but basically the beauty of them is for this pellet cone, obviously when you've been normal feeder fishing, you just put your hook length on and change your hook baits. But with this, obviously I need to be putting my moulded pellets over my hook length, and I need to be attaching it. I'll explain more in a sec, folks, when we got onto the bait. But basically that's just got a little hook in there with a little rubber grommet over the top. You put your hook length on, that closes, and away you go. Now hook length wise, I don't want anything longer than sort of 8 inches for this time of year, but play around with that in the winter. Cheeky, you know, go sort of 12 inches, 14 inches, whatever, just go a little bit longer. The other reason it's effective as well, certainly winter time, you know, the silt, we've casting on deeper venues that hold a lot of silt, obviously that bomb is going straight into the silt. So imagine if you use, let me slacken that up a little bit, imagine if you're using like a method or a hybrid, obviously that's going through the silt might be up here, so obviously it's covering all your bait. Whereas this particular style, your bomb might go into the silt, but your hook length is over the top. Yeah, so it's over the top layer of silt, and then you've got your bait on the top of the silt bed, if you like. So it's such an effective way of fishing. Next thing is bomb size. Let me get that plumbing tangle out the top. Bomb size. Now, winter time, so there's a 3/4 ounce on that one at the minute, folks. Winter time, I'd go down to a little bit lighter, like 1/2 ounce. If we had a bit of wind on, then I got to like 1 ounce, something like that. I always use these square leads just simply because we are casting on a bit of a slope today, folks, so I don't want it rolling down. I just want it, once it's in, I just want it to completely stay there. The reason I've gone a little bit heavier than what I'd normally do is just because of the cast. You'll see when I'm casting, I'm not like pulling through my left hand like you would be with any other particular style of rod and line fishing. I'm more sort of lobbing it, so that's where like a lazy lob. That's where you need a heavier sort of ledger bomb at this end, so it's helping with the cast, if you like, folks. Yeah, so dead simple. So that's the setup, nothing complicated with that at all. Next thing we'll go on to is this setup here. So what I've got, and what you must have for sort of this style of fishing, folks, is one of these gripper rests, because the bites are absolutely horrendous at times. Obviously winter time they're not going to be as active. What's these? You just get them little taps and it tends to go, but with them being quite active in here at the minute, I'm convinced we're going to get some savage bites. So you need one of them gripper rests to hold your rod in, and then any form of rod rest, or you know, if you're in a competition, just put your rod on your keep nets, but make sure you've got an eye this side of your keep net or of your rod rest, so if you do get a savage take, it's not ripping your rod off the rest. Right, so that's that business end set up. The next one will be, I'm going to go to hook lengths first. Now, hook length wise, I am using one hook length straight out of the packet, folks, but I do like to tie my own for this, because I like to vary the distance on my hair rig. So, you know, if the fish are proper having it, for example, I might want to put sort of like 2 bits of corn on there. Time being, I'm just going to put 1 bit of corn and just see what the response is, but I do like to sort of like vary the distance of the hair. All my hooks and my hook length, they're all 14s KKHs, and they're all on 0.18 AccuPower, and you can see there 8-inch hook lengths, that's all I need, along with that sort of twizzle boom at 4 or 5 inches. That's giving me 12 or 13 inches, isn't it? You know what I mean? So I don't want it any longer than that for this time of year, but as I say, winter time, go longer and it will make a massive difference. Now here we've got 2 that I've already done up, just so I can show you. So you'll see that's the finished product basically. I'll show you how to get into that stage in a sec, but basically we've got the moulder pellets around there. In fact, let me get that one out and just break it open for you. The moulder pellets on there, basically what's happening when you're casting in, it's important you're getting that double plop, so that obviously your bomb's landing and then your bait's going past it. Not going to take long for that to break down. Experiment with it though, folks. You'll see when I'm making the little feed parcels up, I'll show you what I use in a sec. Doesn't matter how hard you squeeze, and what I tend to do, the deeper the venue, I'll really sort of force it in. It's basically how you'd plug a feeder. Really compress them pellets into that mould, and then it'll take a little bit longer to break down. But one thing is for certain, 100% the micros will always break down into that same form that you've got there. So don't worry about over squeezing them, you simply can't. If the venue's a little bit shallower, don't squeeze them as hard, so it breaks up a little bit quicker. But basically, what you've got, and the beauty of it, that is going to break down in the water, yeah, break down to that kind of form. Your hook's hidden, but the only thing you can see is that bright yellow piece of corn. Oh, and it's just amazing, folks. Obviously, again, conditions like today where it's a little bit clearer, obviously warmer, unseasonal weather, it will make a blind bit of difference. But in the winter, when the water starts to clear up, 100% it makes a difference. So that's, and you're not putting, look how much food's left there, you're not putting loads of feed in, and that's off my biggest sort of mould, if you like. So that's that one with the corn, I'll leave that there. And then I've also got a pellet one. It is a pellet cone, but 90% of the time I would use corn, but there's no right and wrong, you know, with using anything. You know, a few maggots on it or something, bit of meat if you like, banded pellet like I've got on there, there's no right and wrong with it, folks. So just whatever you've got confidence in. But me personally, I love using corn because it's bright and it does stand out. So mould wise, what are you using, Andrew? Well, do you remember like back in the day, in fact Jakey probably still uses these on his natural venues on the Gloucester Canal and places, the old style pole bungs, you know, the ones where you had to put like an extractor rod up them. That sounds a bit wrong, but you know what I mean, folks. That's all I'm using. All I've done, I've just chopped it down into different sizes. It's such an effective way of fishing. And then all you've got, so like these little babby ones here, them are what I use for like the winter when it's proper cold and desperate. You might be leaving it in for sort of 20-25 minutes at a time, leaving your feed in for 20-25 minutes at a time. This time of year I'm going to go a little bit bigger, but you're seeing that was the biggest size then, still not creating a lot of feed, so you're not getting that build up of feed. I might only leave it in for like 8 to 10 minutes or something. And basically I'll get the bigger one there. What we're doing, oh yeah, we'll go through bait in a sec. I'll just let me show you loading this. So basically all we're doing is like a feeder. Let me come to the top so Jakey can get that on. You're really compressing them pellets into that mould. See, it doesn't matter how hard you squeeze as hard as you want. But what you'll have, and the reason it's so important. Now, there are other devices out on the market, you know, Press and Do one for example, where it's already comes intact, they've got a little split in the side, but I just like these because you can vary the sizes like really quickly. What you'll have like a bit of a taper on it, so obviously thicker at the top and, you know, a little bit slimmer at the bottom. What I want to do with me spike, and these are the tools that you need, so you need one of them, you need a little spiker that's going straight in through the slimmer end, yeah? So you put that spiker through there, so you've got that, and then I'm going to show you, obviously that one's got corn on it already, let me show you, let me leave that in there. I'm going to show you how these things work. So basically with them quick stops, you've got your spiker. Yeah, if you've not seen these before, really simple to use. You put your spiker into the quick stop, make sure your hook's flat down against it, and then you get your piece of corn. So I want quite a big bit of corn. That one. That goes up there. Yeah, wait till the stop comes out the top. You pick that off, and then that folds down so it's perfect every single time. And you know, that'll take a hell of a lot of force and it won't pull through that corn. Yeah, so once you're at that stage, what you do then is come down to your hook length loop. You get your little hooky, baity needly thing, hook that on, and then you're just pulling that down and then through. Unhook that. Now this is the reason why you need the slimmer bit at the top, so that when you're pushing the pellets out, if you was at the fatter end, it wouldn't pull out, if you like, and that's the finished product there. It's, oh God, it's so effective. I'm gonna cast out with that one in a sec, but before we do, I want to go through bait and what bait we need. Now, it's important that obviously we're using sort of Screttings pellets. Now, I've got the Sticky Method pellets, salted caramel, folks. I absolutely adore the salted caramel pellets. You know, taught loads and loads about how we prepare pellets. So, you know, we've already done this. Completely soaked them for sort of like 90 seconds to 2 minutes. I have put extra salted caramel on as well, folks, because I absolutely adore the stuff. Had a bit of a lick with it as well. Got salted caramel corn as well for the bait, but obviously we've got some Robin Reds as well. When them pellets were all done, it'll take about, the whole sort of like this bit will take 40 minutes to get right. So it's important that as soon as you get to your peg, do your pellets first and then set everything else up. So once you've got the pellets of that consistency, I took a handful out and then I just drizzled a little bit of the haze over it, just give them a mix through, and then that, just get them to that colour, and it just adds like a little bit of a fleck to it. If I hold them pellets up there, yeah, you can see like the little bits of yellow running through them, but again, there's no right and wrong with the colour. There's loads of different colours out on the market, these hazes. Red's a particular favourite of mine as well, but the yellow just tends to grab the attention and just stands out. And that is pretty much it. There's nothing complicated with it. What I'll do, when I'm casting, you'll see me leaving it sort of 8 to 10 minutes at a time. So we're going to do it all in one for you folks, so you can see it in real time. 8 to 10 minutes at a time. I've got my watch as normal with my digit missing. So I don't know what that digit is there. It might be on the 9, it might be on a 1, I don't know. But I want to leave it sort of 8 to 10 minutes, something like that. Winter time, leave it longer. You might only look for like 3 casts an hour or something like that. So next thing, have we done everything? We've covered everything there, haven't we? Yep, covered hooks and line and everything. The next thing to consider is the casting and where you're casting to. Now, bearing in mind, this method is really effective in the winter when you might want to cast on top of silt. It's irrelevant because your hook bait is always showing. Where I'm going to be casting today is just up the slope slightly, so roughly around sort of 22 metres, 23 metres, something like that. Now, I'll always say never ever clip up when you're using a bomb, but for this style of fishing, certainly when you'll be using it when it goes a little bit colder, even if you do get a savage take, there's enough stretch in your line and the fish are a little bit more lethargic that you'll have enough time to get that line out of the clip should you need to. So 100% I have clipped up because I want to be, I'm not bothered about getting it in that maggot tub as I said before, but I want to be sort of like on the same line if you like. I'm not bothered if it goes a metre to the left, metre to the right, 2 metres to the left, 2 metres to the right, because at the end of the day, the fish have still got to come into that little bobby pile of bait, which is obviously created by that. Not loads of bait, just that initial scent, fish come into it. So what you'll see me do, again, when I'm fishing, I always like to point my rod to where I'm fishing. I'll be hitting my clip really high. Not like if I was casting to the island where I'd be hitting my clip and lowering my rod, so I've got a right tight line to it. Because I'm fishing with a clip, I want to hit my rod high, or hit my clip high, should I say, so that I can wind down onto my rest. So I've got at least sort of 3, maybe 4 winds on my reel, so that if I do get a savage take, I can get back to where my line clip is, undo my line clip, and away we go. So it's things like that that you've got to consider. But main one is, the reason I'm chucking on that slope is just because, again, still for the time of year, or with how warm it's gone, fishing that silt just going to be sort of like churning it up like mad. So that's why I'm just going up that slope a little bit. So I think that's it. I think I'm waffling enough. Let's get straight onto the fishing then. So nice and simple. My drag's set right anyway, folks, yeah, but I will loosen that off a little bit as well. So with these, one of these quick changey hook swivelly thingies, what I'm going to do is put one of them on, pull the rubber grommet down, and that's what you're left with, folks, yeah? So imagine like that on the bottom, so your bomb's like that, it might be into the silt somewhere, but your sort of bait is over the top. I can't stress how effective this way of fishing is. Yes, that's what we're going with. Nice and simple. So wind that up, and you'll see me when I hit the clip, so it's more of a lob than a cast, so I'm going to lob it out, bring it right back there. Yeah, so that's hit the bottom, but look how many winds I can get. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. I'm going to sink the line on this as well. Go on the fishies, hopefully it'll go pretty quick. There's a carp right over it actually. So get that on there, get that on there, and then what we need to do is slacken that line off. There's no mistaking the proper bites. Now the beauty of this is, see we're getting liners already, I'll always have sort of like another 2 or 3 hook lengths there ready to go, so that it's such quick fishing. Even in the winter, I'm going to break that down, folks, even in the winter, you know, it could have gone by now. They'll take it on the drop, they'll just sort of like inhale absolutely everything. But what you can be doing, well, that's in place, you can be making the other one up. It's almost like, obviously, you know, fixed methods, that kind of thing, you know, where you're allowed to use fixed methods, you can be making another one up, so it's nice and quick. As you wind that one back in, you put the other one on, and away you go, really nice and quick. So again, really sort of compress them pellets into there, put that right the way through the middle, through the thin end, get the loop on, and just pull it back through, and that's on for you. Really, really simple. To say, I want to be leaving it sort of, yeah, winter experiment, but certainly 8 minutes I want to be leaving it. Oh, so we're still on the 2. It looks like a 5, but it might be a 9. Or it could be, no, it's not an 8. It's either a 5 or a 9, folks. I'm not sure which it is. And I'm going to be doing another one, because you can catch that really quick sometimes. When it's really, more F1s, when you're casting a lot more regular, you know, you might be catching them sort of straight away within seconds. Even in the winter, I might have sort of, you know, 6, 7 of these up lengths on the go, just so I can be really quick and just get on with it straight away. First thing you want to do is start on with that and getting them mixed up. But I don't know if you saw at that end when, you know, the bomb entered the water, the hook bait was just past it, which is what you want. You want it nice and tight. You don't want it sort of like landing on top of itself, if you like. You want to make sure you're sort of feathering it down using your line clip, so you've got a good separation. And that's that good to go. So we have that liner initially, and then nothing, which you'd expect, you know. If you, I suppose almost similar to like the method, if you're noticing you're getting them sharp but no hookups, then again the fish are like coming in and mugging you off basically. So because obviously your tail's a little bit longer, what you need to do is just shorten that tail down. Simple as that. Nothing complicated. Again, it's all about reading what's going on. But more often than not, when they come into that little pile of bait, because there's nothing untoward there, you get a few little taps and then it'll just go, ugh, it'll just be on. Really, really effective way of fishing. But I said, don't think that, you know, you need to be chucking it accurate, you need to be building a lot of feed up there. That's not what this style of fishing is all about. It's all about not so much like casting round all over the place, which you can do. It's all about sort of like getting in that area, but making sure you're hitting the rod nice with that clip. You're not giving it too much force, so you're getting that separation as your bomb comes down in your feed. And then it's just a case of waiting. And I'm not the patientest, folks, but that's what we're here for. That is what we're here for. Go on, the fishies. So everything's set now. You know, I'll leave it another probably 4 to 5 minutes. We had one little liner before, but again, with how many fish are on top, that could literally be from there all the way out to where we're fishing. Whereas winter time, you'd like to think obviously it's around your feeder. But I'm all set to go. Once I wind back, it's just a case of undoing that clip, taking the hook length off, putting that one back on, and away we go again. And away! But yeah, where you'll go wrong if you're not used to this style of fishing is, I guarantee you'll try and give it too much on your first cast and your pellets will go everywhere. So remember, use a heavier ledger bomb and just like guide it more than anything. If anything, just use a longer rod, and obviously that'll help you with your distance. But definitely clipping up to the main one, 100%. Go on, fishies. Just need to wait now, don't we? Oh, little dink then. Little dink then. It can be a, an instant thing. But so the time you'd use it, usually it just takes that little bit longer. But when they find it, when you get a few fish coming in, it really is a cracking way of catching fish. So it's more forgotten really. You don't really see that many anglers using it. I don't know why. You just fill a load of pellets and magazine, catch on pole, don't you folks? But joking apart, so when it does go clearer, I don't think there's out better than this style of fishing. I think what we'll do, obviously, we want to fast forward everything today. With it being that little bit milder still, I'm not going to leave the casters long. In fact, that's been 5 minutes. I'm not going to leave the casters long, but remember, match conditions, or when it goes that colder, oh yeah, you need to leave it. So this is what I mean about why you'd want to do them hook lengths up. So that goes going there. You get your other hook length, nice and quick. Close that, and then you're in business again, folks. Yeah, nice and fast. So again, more of a lob. Yeah, hit that clip nice and high. So you see that separation. Hold your rod high, and then get them winds down and sink that line. Yeah, so you're getting that separation, but you want to make sure you're hitting your clip high so you can get some winds down onto your reel. And then make sure you loosen the drag. Even though we're fishing pretty heavy, they're still blooming. They're still going to be angry, and they're not bothered. You can get away with fishing heavier on this anyway. With all forms of feeder fishing, really. That's it, so that's that one done. So redo this one. Plug that. Nice and, yep, tight in there. It goes out. One with the cone. But I said there's no right and wrong with the hook baits or anything like that, folks. Whatever you've got confidence in. You know, if you prefer to use pellets or meat, anything. Bunch of maggots, bread, anything. Doesn't matter. That's ready to go again. I can mould that up as well for our next one. Yeah. I would say experiment with the sizes of your, you know, the bait that you're feeding. Obviously I'm using a bigger size for now, but winter, you know, little babby ones like that. I've even got some smaller ones, I think, in here. We've got some smaller ones. Little tiny one there. So when it's like real, oh, there's a ghosty here, folks. When it's like really cold, you know, little tiny babby ones like that will make a difference for you. Come on, the fishies. Oh, there we go then, folks. That did not take long at all, and that is not happy. That's why you have that drag set really loose. He's kited off to the left as soon as I've hooked him. Oh, my neck. Not very happy whatsoever, but it just goes to show why you always want to make sure you slacken that blooming drag off, folks, yeah? Still kiting a bit to the left. You know, the other thing you'll see as well, or you'll notice it, I play everything right low, yeah? Keep that fish nice and low, and then just tension that drag up as you need it. I always back wind as well, just have them both set. And always make sure they're set, but you know, if you're not comfortable with back wind, don't use it. You know, it's something you need to get used to. This is when you need to be important though, when they come right close to your net. So again, keep them low, and as soon as you see them swirl, that's generally when you can lift nice and high, and then just get them in that first scoop, if you like. You come round this way so I can show you. I do tend to go a little bit angry in here when they get close, just because it's so shallow, I suppose. But yeah, what a method the Pellet Cone is, folks. Honestly, you just can't beat it. On its day, it's like ridiculous. So good. So good, but these fish are so angry. Oh, man, where's he going? He's gone back for a feed. Blooming, and then pellets out there. He didn't have enough micros, obviously, folks. He's going to have some more. That is ridiculous. He's made it halfway past the blooming lake then. Just shows you how angry they are, doesn't it? So when I'm winding into the fish, I want to maintain that bend in my rod. So wind in, pull back with that bend. But as I said, my drag's set right, but I have got back wind on as well. Right, come on then. Let's see if I can net him this time. Must have tied himself out then, folks, hasn't he? Here he is. Oh, there he is. Come on. There's that ledger bomb up there. Oh, he's still not happy. So angry. So obviously the colder it gets, so folks, the less the fish fight. It's just because it's gotten that blooming bit warmer, that's why they're fighting so blooming hard. So let's get that nice side strain on them. It's still blooming going. They don't know when to give up, do they, these fish? Ridiculous. We come back with this way. Come on the fishies. Go on the carps. Go on the carps. Don't you think it's a big one? They're just blooming turbocharged. It's not. It's only a little babby one. Just blooming turbocharged. Come on. There we go. So it swirl. Lift that rod up high. Get rid of that net. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I'll show you lovely lot what kind of stamp of fish you can expect. So this bit here, talk you through that as well. Bring the fish back into your lap first. Tuck that rod under your leg, and obviously if you are using back wind, engage the anti-reversed, and then you've got that nice tight line so you can't possibly tangle. The worst thing I see when I'm coaching is people getting the tip rod and putting it back behind themselves. If you keep it nice and tight, it's impossible for it to tangle around that fine tip. So let's just get him unhooked. That's a right hook, all that. It's gone back through itself and back through the blooming net. Let's get him out there. Show you the fish. Come on, the minutes. There's a new little babby one. They're blooming hungry. Let's give him a bit of a rinse first and I'll show you. There we go, that's what you can expect in these kind of waters. Lovely mirror, £3.5 to £4 maybe, something like that. And get back and catch me some more of them, folks. But obviously, as I said, the colder it gets, then the more that sort of like style and tactic comes into play, and it's so effective, folks. Don't forget though, main things, change around with the size of your pellet cone. You know, obviously bigger for sort of like if it's a little bit of temperature in the water, that kind of thing, or a little bit of colour in the water, and then much smaller when that water starts to clear up, or you know the fish obviously aren't as active, or even if it's sort of like skimmers and bream, or you know F1s that you're after, go for a little smaller one. And then hook bait as well. Obviously my favourite hook bait in the whole wide world is corn, because obviously when that water starts to clear up, the brightest thing they can see is your yellow hook bait, your corn, and it just stands out like a sore thumb. The fish nail it. But by all means, there's no right and wrong with any particular hook bait you want to put on. It's all about personal preference and having confidence in what you're using. But yeah, all it leaves me to say, folks, get out, give it a go. Wait till it goes a little bit colder, but get out and give it a go, and you will absolutely empty the venues where you're going to go and fish. As always though, folks, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification button on the Sonubaits YouTube channel, and that'll tell you when videos such as these are going to go out. So yeah, go out and enjoy the pellet cone.